I'm coming, don't ask why. I don't have an answer that fits into language anymore. Every time I try to explain it, words scatter like frightened birds, and I'm left holding the silence they drop behind. I'm coming because something inside me stood up one night and refused to sit down again, because my chest learned a new kind of ache, not pain, not love, not fear, but a pressure that says move or disappear. I'm coming because staying has become a form of slow erasure. I stayed long enough to memorize the shape of my own loneliness. It had corners, it had habits, it knew my name. I stayed until mirrors stopped recognizing me, until my reflection looked like someone who had apologized too often for existing, until my voice learned how to whisper even when no one was asking it to be quiet. I'm coming because I am tired of negotiating with ghosts. Every room I sit in fills with old versions of me. The hopeful one, the naive one, the one who thought endurance was the same thing as strength. They stare at me like witnesses at a trial that never ends. They ask questions without speaking. They remind me of promises I made before I understood the cost of keeping them. I'm coming because I can't carry them all anymore. Don't ask why now. Why not before? Why not sooner? Why not when it would have been easier to forgive me? Time is not polite. It doesn't wait for courage to arrive fully dressed. Sometimes it drags you by the wrist and says, "This is the moment, bleeding or not." I'm coming because I finally heard myself think, not the noise, not the rehearsed explanations, not the version of me built for survival. The real thought came quietly, almost embarrassed. It said, "If you stay, you will forget what you were meant to feel," and that terrified me more than leaving ever could. I'm coming because I have mistaken endurance for purpose for far too long. I learned early how to be useful, how to be agreeable, how to fold my needs into smaller and smaller shapes until they fit inside other people's comfort. I was praised for it, rewarded for it, loved for it, I think, or at least for the version of love that doesn't ask too many questions. But usefulness is a quiet thief. It steals your edges first, then your voice, then your sense of direction. One day you wake up and realize you are excellent at surviving lives that do not belong to you. I'm coming because I don't want to be excellent at that anymore. Don't ask why I didn't say something earlier. I did, just not out loud. I said it in the way my shoulders tightened every time I smiled, in the way sleep avoided me like an unanswered message, in the way my laughter sounded rehearsed, as if it needed permission to exist. I said it in the pauses I left hanging, hoping someone would notice and pull meaning out of them. No one did. Or maybe they did and chose not to ask. I learned that silence can be communal. I'm coming because my body has started telling the truth my mouth was trained to hide. It speaks in exhaustion that no rest fixes, in headaches that arrive without warning, in a heart that races at ordinary questions, as if danger lives inside small talk. The body does not lie politely. It rebels. It refuses. It drags the truth into daylight, even when you beg it not to. I'm coming because I trust my body more than my excuses now. Don't ask why I'm not angry. I am. But anger is no longer loud inside me. It has settled into something steadier, a calm recognition of where I end and where I was never meant to begin. Anger taught me the boundary. Peace taught me to cross it. I'm coming because I want to meet myself without witnesses. I want to know who I am when no one is measuring my worth, when no one is waiting for me to fail or succeed or explain, when I am not performing recovery, strength, or gratitude. I want to sit with my unedited thoughts and not rush to correct them. I want to feel something fully without translating it into something acceptable. I'm coming because I have been edited enough. Don't ask why this feels sudden. It isn't. This decision has been writing itself quietly for years, in journals half filled and abandoned, in late nights where I stared at ceilings and negotiated with the future, in the way I flinched at questions about permanence. Sudden is just what it looks like from the outside. Inside, it has been a long, slow cracking. I'm coming because hope has changed its shape. It used to look like endurance, like waiting, like believing that if I stayed kind long enough, the world would soften back. Now hope looks like motion, like choosing myself even when it disappoints people I love, like risking misunderstanding in exchange for honesty. Hope is no longer passive. It is demanding. I'm coming because I am done being a location where everyone else stops and I never arrive. People have passed through me, rested, healed, left lighter. I stayed behind with the debris of their transformations. I don't resent them. I just finally recognize the pattern. I was a place, not a person. I'm coming to become one. Don't ask why I'm not explaining everything. Some truths collapse when overhandled. Some reasons are not meant to be defended, only honored. If I lay them all out, they will become a debate. And this is not a debate. This is a departure. I'm coming because something sacred inside me asked for movement, not permission. I used to believe clarity came before action. that you had to fully understand yourself before you were allowed to change your life. But clarity is shy. It follows motion, not the other way around. You walk first, you understand later. I'm coming because I finally chose to walk. If you need a reason, borrow this one. I am tired of betraying myself quietly so others don't feel uncomfortable loudly. If you need another, I want my future memories to recognize me. If you need one more, I deserve a life that doesn't require constant translation. I'm coming, not to escape responsibility, not to dramatize my existence, not to punish anyone for not seeing me sooner. I'm coming to arrive, and that is the only reason that matters. I'm still coming. Even now, after saying it out loud, after letting the words touch air, I feel the weight of them pressing back against me. Declarations are heavier than silence. Silence only eats you from the inside. Words invite consequence. I'm coming knowing full well that some people will rewrite my leaving as betrayal. They always do. Departure frightens those who benefit from your stillness. I have already imagined the conversations I will never be part of. My name spoken in rooms I am no longer in. My motives guessed at, dissected, simplified. It's strange how easily people forgive pain they understand, and how harshly they judge growth they cannot control. I'm coming anyway. There was a time when I would have stayed just to protect the version of myself that lived in other people's expectations. I treated their image of me like a fragile heirloom, something precious, something inherited, something I was responsible for not breaking. But carrying someone else's idea of you is a slow fracture. It splinters your spine. It bends your truth into shapes it was never meant to hold. One day I realized I was protecting an image that was quietly destroying the original. I'm coming because I don't want to live as a reflection anymore. I want to be the source. Don't ask why I didn't fight harder to be understood. I did. I fought with patience. I fought with compromise. I fought with explanations that shrank me each time I offered them. But understanding is not something you can force. It has to be wanted. And I got tired of performing clarity for people who preferred comfort over truth. I'm coming because being misunderstood is less painful than being misused. I have spent years adjusting my tone so no one would mistake my honesty for accusation, softening my boundaries so they wouldn't bruise anyone else's convenience, diluting my needs until they sounded like suggestions instead of necessities. Do you know what that does to a person? It teaches them to doubt hunger, to question thirst, to apologize for wanting air. I'm coming because I want my needs to sound like needs again. There is grief in this. even if I don't say it loudly. Leaving is not the absence of love. Sometimes it is the most honest proof that love existed at all. You don't grieve what didn't matter. You don't mourn places you were never alive in. I grieve the versions of us that might have survived under different conditions, different timing, different courage. But potential is not a home, and memory is not a future. I'm coming because nostalgia has started lying to me. It edits out the nights I felt invisible, the mornings I woke up already tired of explaining myself, the moments I swallowed my truth just to keep the peace intact. Nostalgia is a talented liar. It makes endurance look like romance. It makes suffering look meaningful just because it lasted a long time. I'm done letting duration decide value. Don't ask why I'm choosing myself now. There is no right time to stop abandoning yourself. There is only the moment you notice you're doing it. For me, that moment came quietly, not during a fight, not during a breakdown. It came when I realized I was no longer excited by the future I was protecting, when the thought of staying felt heavier than the fear of leaving. That's how you know. I'm coming because I want to feel anticipation again, not the anxious kind that waits for impact, the gentle kind that opens space in your chest. I want mornings that don't feel like obligations. I want nights that don't feel like negotiations with regret. I want to make decisions based on alignment, not endurance. I'm coming because I want my joy to stop feeling conditional. Don't ask why I'm not promising to come back. Some exits are not dramatic, but they are final. Not because bridges are burned,